Unfortunately, most men spend their lives chasing women only to end up with eggs on their faces and nothing to show for it towards the tail end of their lives. And I've started to realize that women in that plumbed wet vice grip are a huge weakness of men who have not yet put XXs in their proper perspective. For those who don't know, XXs is just code for women. Anyways, because we are juiced up on testosterone, which makes us constantly want to bust gallons of nasty nuts, we spend all day and every day thinking and pursuing that sweet, sweet thing instead of focusing on what's truly important in this life. And no disrespect to women, but they are not important and should never be something men spend their lives pursuing in any way, shape, or form. Because XXs are liabilities that do not bring or yield anything of value in most cases. They are made to take from men, not to give back. So men, put that wet vice grip that you love so much into its proper perspective and understand if you want to become someone of value in this life before the Grim Reaper comes for that ass, you cannot spend your life warring up in women just to be placed on child support. That should not be something you strive towards, and it will not benefit you in the slightest, especially with the modern women of our time. You should focus on getting that money above all else, then you can focus on purpose after that, and women should come dead last. And I know you've been accustomed to hearing you should focus on your purpose first, and I will explain why for most men that will not work. Here's the deal: most men start off poor with nothing or anyone to help them to get on their feet, and this is usually because your single mom hated your father more than how she loved you, or you came from a really large family and your parents could hardly make ends meet. That is the story of the typical person you see when you walk outside. I know there are many different circumstances, like the death of a parent or both of your parents drowning in debt, but typically those two scenarios are what would be common around the world. Now, when you're dirt poor with nothing to your name, you can't afford to think about purpose unless your job path is what your purpose is, and with the assumption that you can afford the education to get that job in the first place. If not, you will have to temporarily or permanently give up on that dream until you have the money or find a way to reach that destination later in life. For most people, you have to focus on getting some level of income as fast as possible, so you can now live and survive on your own day-to-day. This should always come before your purpose if you're a broke ninja, and definitely before a chick. But what does the average broke ninja do? The average broke ninja focuses on women first, and then tries to get a low-paying job to support himself and the woman, then expects the woman to meet him 50-50 and they build together. That is a formula for failure off the bat. If that's what you are currently doing or thinking of doing, then you, my friend, need to get your priorities in order. When you are building and working on yourself, a woman should be the last thing on your mind. The correct path to take is to ignore most, if not all, women and go monk mode for as long as it takes to build up to a level of stability. Then you can start looking for the cheapest piece of tail feather out there. What is the most affordable form of a relationship, you may ask? Well, if you can get a friends with benefits type situation where you barely have to give the woman anything without committing, that would be one of the cheapest ways. Your other option is to get a sugar mama and let her take care of you instead of you taking care of her. This would work out in your favor because you rarely have to give the woman anything, but relationships like that are few and far between, so you can't afford to use that as a regular strategy. The last strategy is to pay for play with women who are not expensive and do it only when you need to bust that nut, and don't take it as a habit. Remember, the goal is to build wealth, so you can't be spending a large chunk of money that you should be putting towards your future on women. That would be counterproductive. But I know some of you guys cannot see yourselves going years with no peace leave, so pay for play is your next best thing. In my opinion, until you are stable, ignore all women and beat your meat to release that tension. I know some guys recommend no FAP and semen retention, but if you can't do it, then whack off every now and then, and don't overdo it. And if you can afford not to watch prawn, that would be best. I know you guys don't want to hear this, but I'm giving you options for realistically coming out on the other side without relapsing and chasing women. Not every man can do what other YouTubers are recommending. I know I couldn't go the 10 months of monk mode without beating my meat, but if you can, more power to you. The next stage in your progression should be either aiming for a higher paying job, starting a side hustle like YouTube while you are working, or getting a skill that can pay enough money to fully sustain yourself. Now, let me clarify why most people are stuck in life that the majority of people on YouTube don't address but assume in their videos that these people are lazy. When kids are fresh out of high school, some people have the luxury of having their parents help to take care of them while they pursue a business venture, college, or a trade. Just having a roof over their heads and food on the table is enough for most people to have time to focus on bettering themselves. But thanks to a lot of you guys' mothers, she busted all of that up and made you struggle for no good reason, other than she was selfish and did not want your father in your life. Thank your single mom for allowing you to struggle unnecessarily. Anyways, if you didn't get that window to better yourself, you will be at a significant disadvantage because you will either have to work or take out student loans for college if that's the road you decide to walk. However, if you chose to work, depending on your hours or whether or not you had to work multiple jobs just to survive, you won't have time to better yourself because day in and day out, you have to be on that grind, which takes up a considerable amount of your time and energy, so you'll be forever stuck in what society calls the rat race. It's a never-ending loop of working, eating, and sleeping that stops you from getting a chance to better yourself due to you not having enough time and energy to focus on other ventures. I hope the explanation connected with you so you understand why most people never get ahead. Worse, if you have children, it would take substantial help and sacrifice to dig yourself out of the depths of poverty and into a better situation. I hope that gave you guys context on why a lot of people stay broke or never better themselves. The second reason why some people never get ahead is that they are at a soul-sucking job that quite literally sucks out their willingness to improve their lives. Some jobs will leave you watching the clock and waiting to just clock out and rush home to do something else. It's jobs that fit the description that is called soul-sucking jobs. Those jobs typically leave you stressed, tired, drained, burnt out, and stagnant. And what tends to happen is you start to hate that job so much that when you get your free time, all you want to do is go out and enjoy yourself. If you don't have strong willpower, you will fill up your free time with useless activities and waste time with things that will not contribute to your growth. That is why you see many people at the club shaking their asses, lighting up the spliff, drinking the liquor, and sniffing the coke just to escape their reality. It's pretty much a downward spiral from there, so you have to catch yourself and have your exit plan out of that job. You can do this by disciplining yourself against all odds and focusing on getting another skill or starting a side hustle. If you're too drained to do that, then look for a different job while you're working, so you still have income coming in. After you have a stable income or your side hustle starts to rake in cash, then you can begin focusing on your purpose. You see, men, survival comes before everything else, so when you have a sense of stability and are not in need, you can focus on having purpose and making an impact. It is tough to give when you have nothing to offer, and you are barely making it. Only a rare exception of people have chosen purpose, then survival, and it worked out. Don't be dumb and struggle unnecessarily. Unless your purpose is in the field you want to work in, and you have the resources or means to attain your goal, then go for it. If not, and you still need to eat and live, then choose survival first, and then your purpose. In my opinion, that is the safest and most logical path to reach your goals in life while you still can take oxygen from the unproductive and lazy in today's society. And while you're pursuing your purpose, since you have money, just pay for what the woman has to offer and keep it moving. Don't commit, cohabitate, or get married. Just live the free agent lifestyle. Ignore all the women who claim they want you and you alone. All they want is your resources, so tell them you're not interested in pay for play. The last stage will be securing the bag for your retirement. Once you followed all my advice, you should have been investing your money and saving throughout your life, so having a small nest egg will be achievable for damn near all of you who didn't have a personal woman, had kids, got divorced, graked to kingdom come, and so on. So just make sure you have all your chips in order so you can retire comfortably and just pay to smash out the women you want. They will be coming to you at this point, and you'll understand they weren't ished to begin with. You'll realize that chasing XXs was a fool's errand, and had you just built up yourself from the beginning, you get the women anyways. The women will come to you after you get the money and the power, gents, so never try to chase or pursue them. Just ignore them and focus on what's important, which is you. Tap the like button and share the video with a man that needs to hear this message. If you want to donate to the channel, the links to our PayPal and Cash Apps are in the description box below. And lastly, if you have any personal stories about your experiences with women and life lessons you want to share, then our email is also in the description box. Remember, gents, ignore them and focus on what's important.